It's time for us to look ahead. Unifying minds will be quite sad. Let's look at the best cards and dab that fantasize about the strategies. Yeah, there is a card called Sad Stamp. It reminds me so much of Ant-Man. In the late game, you won't stand a chance when there's nothing left in your hand. And then there's a brand new Raichu attacking that totally strikes you. Leave you paralyzed so you can't fight too. Looking at my prize cards, it's quite the view. Or how about a GX move and a 2 card? Having tackle will now hit hard, smacking the opponents in the discard. It's time for us to look forward. Yeah, episode 219, a sneak peek into the future with Unifying Minds. Yeah. What's up YouTube, it's Latias here and welcome to episode 219 on my channel. As you know, on my channel you always get the latest competitive TCG information in town, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't ever miss out, and hit that little notification bell to get updated immediately when a video is live on the channel. If you want to support me, there's a chance to buy some merchandise. The link is in the description below. Get yourself an epic hoodie or sweatshirt or whatever you want. It's in the description below. So without further ado, in this video we're gonna take a sneak peek into the future, because we're gonna look at some Unified Minds cards. These are cards that we're gonna get on the 2nd of August, and once that set is released, Unified Minds, in 14 days time there's gonna be the World Championships, which I'm gonna be part of, so I'm very excited and afraid as well, because there's gonna be a rotation the day before Worlds, and this set will also be legal. So this is not all the cards of Unified Minds, but it'll give us kind of an idea of which card to look forward to. So without further ado, let's dive into it. We have the Japanese set, we have SM10A and SM10B, so Sky Legend and all that good stuff. So we're gonna take a look at those cards and see which cards are very interesting. The first card on the list, here as we have him, Rowlet Alolan Exeggutor-GX. This is going to be one of those GXs that will mainly be used for its first attack, Super Growth, for 0 energy, so you don't have to have your manual attachment on this Pokemon. It's a basic Pokemon as well. You can just search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Grass-type Pokemon on the bench, and then you can just evolve it. After you're done evolving to your Stage 1 Grass-type, you may search your deck for a card that evolves from that Stage 1 Pokemon you just evolved, and evolve it into that Pokemon as well. So, to give a little example, you have a Rowlet on the bench, you use this attack for 0 energies, you can search your deck for, the evolution of Rowlet. It's gonna be Dartrix, bam, you smack it onto there. Afterwards, if there's an evolution available, you search your deck again, and you can just evolve your Dartrix immediately into the Decidueye GX. Very interesting attack, since you can use it for 0 energy, so I do see the capabilities here. There's a lot of Stage 2 grass types that are a little bit too slow, but this will help it out a lot. Think about like the Shining Legends Venusaur. I know there's a rotation, but I'm just giving examples. You can just get that Venusaur out of nowhere and just have that amazing ability that 1 grass energy becomes 2 instead. So very interesting to see how Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor will fit into the format after the rotation. There's also Peaceful Hurricane, dishes out 150 damage. And you can also heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. It does have 270 HP on the rather high end for a basic Pokemon Tag Team GX. Then for its GX move, Tropical Hour GX, 200 damage, not too shabby. And if this Pokemon has 3 extra energies attached in addition to the attack cost, you can shuffle all energies attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon into their deck, so get rid of all of their energies. This is very insane, but how do you get that attack cost? Of course, with Shining Legends, Venusaur could help, but after rotation, I don't know. We don't have any grass-type support as of late, so we're gonna have to wait. But definitely, for evolving, I do see potential in Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor-GX. The only thing keeping this card down, from being used, is because of its weakness to fire. Weakness to fire is never good, although there is a Chiron out here in the sets that just gets rid of your weakness, just to let you guys know. Alright, next up, we have a Crustal here. Not gonna waste any more time on this. It's just flipping coins with Fury Cutter. For each head you dish more damage, so very interesting Fury Cutter. But it also has, of course, the Shell Armor ability, taking 30 less damage from attacks. It's pretty garbage. There's a new Fomantis. This time around, Fomantis have 70 HP, which means it's not searchable with Elm's Lecture, but it does have more HP to survive. And it also, there's a Lurantis in here with Paddle Blizzard. For a single card with energy, you can just dish out 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So a powered down flying flip, so maybe people will try and use that. And also, if you have a fire type energy attached to your Lurantis in addition to the attack of the Soul Slash attack, the second attack, you can dish out 100 damage. Not too bad. There's, of course, Tsareena in here. Tsareena has a great ability. Once during your turn, you may attach a grass energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. So that could actually be a way to power up Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor GX. The good thing is that you can just get this Tsareena out as early as your second turn. yeah, because you can use that attack for 0 energies, evolve all the way up to Serena, and maybe you can use that twice. Let's say you have a couple of Serenas out, you're definitely going to be having an awesome time with Alolan Exeggutor and that Rowlet. Weakness to Fire is like but this is going to be Grass Energy Acceleration as we've desired for. Next is Numel. Gonna mention it here. Numel is of course a 90 HP basic Pokemon, evolves to Camerupt, but they both have the attack Tackle. And I'm gonna say this, every Pokemon with the attack Tackle and Air Slash will have it good because there's gonna be tool cards that can be required for your GX move. So you can use a GX move with these Pokemon, more on that later, but having Tackle is good. Not only that, the strong Flare attack from Camerupt actually dishes out 150 damage for 4 energies, and with Welder, of course, in our format, it's gonna be very easy for powering up Fire type Pokemon. Next up is a cool Victini, which has the attack Victory Sign. Search your deck for 2 different basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. I adore this. Remember where you're playing like with Arceus Prism Star, doing the exact same thing, searching for a couple of energies here and there? Well, this will make it a little bit easier. Let's say you're playing White Kyurem, which is good because water hits weakness against fire Pokemon. Fire is huge. So maybe we can rely on Victini, attach a fire energy onto it, and then search your deck for 2 basic energies, put them onto White Kyurem. It could be the thing to work out. It accelerates energies. Not only that, there's also the Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, and of course a tag team that needs a lot of different types of energies. That could be the way to set it up with Victini. Its attack is garbage, but I do love the attack Victory Sign as an energy acceleration attack. Next up is going to be Talonflame. Talonflame is actually an interesting Pokemon because it has Free Retreat, and if you're playing with Free Retreat, you know the power. We all played with like Jolteon GX and just adored the fact that we have Free Retreat. Well, Talonflame, it's too bad it's a stage 2 Pokemon, but the format will be slowed down a little bit with the loss of all those crazy cards and even gusting effects, so maybe it can find its way in some weird decks because it has the attack Flare Bliss. Yeah, from the video games, reminds me a lot of that. 100 damage, and then if you discard an energy, you have to discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, and then you dish out 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So 150 for 2 energies, not bad. You can spread it around as you please. Next up is going to be Frozlass. This will have a huge impact in the format, mark my words, because as the recording of this video, Unbroken Bonds will of course be released, and with Unbroken Bonds legal, we have tons of fire decks. We have Baby Blacephalon, we have Reshiram Charizard Tag Team GX, we even have Shrine Arcanine. A lot of decks relying on Welder and just obliterating a lot of opponents. Well, this is your counter here. If you're having trouble against things like Charizard and Reshiram Tag Team GX, this Breath of Grudge, the attack of Frozlass, will have a lot. You can put up to 7 damage counters on this Pokemon, and then you can dish out 20 damage for each damage counter you place in this way. So, with the loss of Choice Band, there's going to be a lot of issues to just get to that number, 280 damage or 270 damage on the attack, actually on the HP department on Charizard and Reshiram. Well, this guy can one-shot that huge Pokemon for a single water energy. The thing you do here is attach an energy, use that attack, put 7 damage counter in total on Frozlass. That means you only have 10 HP remaining, but who cares, you're just destroying a tag team. And then you dish out 140 damage for just a single energy. 140 damage for a single energy, that's just insane. Count the weakness in, that's 280, and Charizard and Reshiram will go down in one shot. So Frozlass, the best attack card against, of course, Reshiram and Charizard. So very interesting to see how that will impact the format. There's an Obama Snow, which can automatically paralyze the opponent if the opponent's active Pokemon has a water energy attached. So it's actually way too situational. But then there's Cryogonal. I remember Cryogonal from Noble Victories as my tech card against like Donphan Prime. Oh, those were the days. But Cryogonal is back right now, and it's actually baby Seismitoad. Seismitoad EX just goes rampant in the expanded format, locking everybody out of items. Well, the same thing here is with the Frozen Lock attack. Your opponent can no longer play items during their next turn. So this can be kind of a situational card where you use it in the early stage of the game, and that leaves yourself open to set your board up, because the opponent will no longer play their item cards. No more Ball Engine Surge, no more like things like Rare Candy. You just slow the opponent down while you just set up by yourself. Very situational, like the Chimecho from Crimson Invasion that used to just slow the opponent down, that they can no longer smack down Pokemon with abilities. Same thing here, but they can no longer play their items. This is huge. Every water deck will definitely play one copy of that, because it also has a retreat cost of 1, which means a skateboard is a thing with this card. So I'm very curious how item lock on the first turn will go in a format like this. Not only that, you're also hitting weakness against a lot of popular fire types. Next, Keldeo GX. Yes, remember Hoopow from Shining Legends, Scoundrel Guard ability, being invincible for EX Pokemon and GX Pokemon? Well, it's the same thing with the ability here. Holy Heart has the same effect as a Shining Legends Hoopow. So you're invincible for attacks from GXs, even the effects, everything is done to you. So fantastic here. You are a GX, so you still are weak to things like Shrine of Punishment. And if the opponent knocks you out, yeah, they get 2 prize cards, there's that. But this is gonna be huge. Stall decks definitely need a card like this with Hoopow rotating out of the format. I know we still have Luminous Barrier, Alolan Ninetales, the Fairy type, which got reprinted in Team Up if I'm not mistaken. So there's also, that is a stage 1. This is a basic smack it down. GXs are useless, that's how fun it is. No, we do lose Aqua Patch, which is a shame. That means you just have to attach manually 3 times in order to attack. That is the bad thing about this, but as a stall card, fantastic. A lot of GXs are being played right now. Next, Tapu Fini. If people ask you, are you playing Baby Blacephalon? Well, you just have to be scratching your hair, or if you're playing Ultra Beast in general. Tapu Fini has a Nature Wave attack, its second attack, and it states if your opponent has an Ultra Beast in play, this attack can be used for a colorless energy. Wow, for a colorless energy, dishing out 100 damage. That means Blacephalon GX, scratch that to the discard. Baby Blacephalon, it's out of there. So a couple of copies will help your matchup immensely against those. So Tapu Fini, the ultimate Blacephalon counter. Then we have some new Magnamines. I do love the fact that we have the Tri-Attack on Magneton, which means the triple accelerated energy is a thing with this card. Not that I would use it for that, but yeah, it's the thing here. And then there's Magnezone. Magnezone has the dual type. As long as this Pokemon is in play, it has, of course, the Lightning type and Metal type as a disposal. That means you hit weakness against Gardevoir and Sylveon Tag Team. You hit weakness against things that are weak to Lightning and against things that are weak to Metal, which is nice. You can just put a trainer card from the discard into your hand. If you use the attack Magnetic Bolt, you dish out 120, which is enough to, like, most of the times 2-shot Pokemon, and you can get an item from the discard, actually a trainer card. That means, oh, I need my supporter that I just wasted. Well, you can get it back. I need my Electro Power, which I just used for this attack cost. No problem, you can get it back. Put a trainer card from the discard in the hand is always huge. I do have 160 HP. You do share a weakness with Pikarom, so I don't know where we go with this. Next is Circuitry, the Ultra Beast that looks like a circuit. Yeah, this is gonna be fantastic. Remember baby Buzzwole? Yeah, that one that just racks up the format here and there. Same thing here. With 3 mirrors, you dish out 30 damage, which is on itself is good. With 1 Electro Power, you one-shot Zapdos, which is just saying something. And if your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining, you dish out 120 damage instead. So it's basically the same like Baby Blacephalon, but then we have the 3 mirrors turn. Of course, we had Sledgehammer turn, now we have 3 mirrors turn. 120 for a single energy, too good to pass up. And with Electro Powers, you can go for crazy numbers. Let's say you use 2 Electro Powers, that's 180. You're just one-shotting things like Blacephalon GX. As an example, how good is that? And you also have a second attack to confuse the opponent, but yeah, that's not too good. The 3 mirrors attack will be used in a lot of lightning decks. We have Arbok, very interesting, the pattern of that. When this Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from the opponent's Pokemon, you can discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. A little bit of disruption, I wouldn't play it. Then we have Wheezing, when you discard this card from your hand with the effect of Jesse and James. Jesse and James is a card we'll get to later. It actually lets you discard 2 cards from the opponent's hand and from your hand. So we're gonna talk about that later. But if you discard this Wheezing with the effect of Jesse and James, you may have your opponent discard a card from their hand. So after discarding from the Jesse and James, they discard another card. So disruption at its best. Then the Lake Trio is back here with Uxie, Maspert, and Azelf. They have this Uxie has an ability, Territory of Secrets. If you have Azelf and Maspert in play, so if you have all 3 of them in play, apply weakness of each Pokemon to ×4 instead. So instead of ×2, you can have ×4. So that could be very interesting to make like a rogue deck that hits weakness against a lot of Pokemon. Things like, I could think about things like Kecleon as a little example. We have the Kecleons that have the type with unit energies. Maybe with the Lake partners here, the legendaries, we can have something good going on. Okay, then we have Maspert. You can search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and put them on the bench. Very similar like Dunsparce from Celestial Storm. We all thought that card was going to be huge, but we still have Professor Am's Lecture, so I don't know if this is a good thing. But first contact, if you don't have anything better to do on your second turn, actually if you go first and you go second, yeah, let's go with that. You go second, you can use the attack, bam, and then you can just get your Pokemon out. You don't have to rely on the Elm's Lecture, but I wouldn't use it for that. Yeah, next up is Azelf. Put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like for a colorless energy. So I do love the Lake Trio here, where you can just hit weakness to times 4, and with of course strategies like Kecleon, or maybe you're just wanting to dunk or actually counter one of the most popular decks in the format. Let's say fighting, you want to hit for fighting weakness with times 4, you're gonna have an awesome time against Pikarom, although all these Pokemon do have a low amount of HP, we have to say that. Okay, next is Poipole. This Poipole is insane. With the second attack, last seen, you dish out 50 damage, and if both players have exactly 1 prize card remaining, you dish out 130 damage more, so 180 on a 1 prize Pokemon for 3 energy is not bad at all. Things like Malamar can set this up. Maybe you play 1 copy of that in Malamar, and if the situation is there where you both have 1 prize card, you say, oh, there is my Poipole, Mysterious Treasure, it's out there, bam. You use a couple of the Psychic Transfers, or actually Psychic Recharge, bam, and then the Poipole is set up thanks to Malamar and just one-shots. It could be an interesting thing. Not only that, you can set it up on a B-string turn and leave it on the bench to just have be a potential threat later on, or you just evolve it later. It's a very nice option to have with, of course, the new Poipole. Druddigon might be used in stall decks, although double Chorus energy is gone. It switches one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon, and with the loss of Guzma, things will actually be trapped now in the active position, so not a lot of Pokemon will get out of there if you have a huge retreat cost. We don't have Floatstone, we don't have Guzma, so there's gonna be a creative way to get out of the active position. Maybe people will play like multiple copies of the regular Switch. Next is Naganadel GX. I do have a huge thing about this card. It's going to be one of the best cards, better cards of the set, because it reminds me so much of Zoroark GX with consistency wise. Once during your turn, you may discard an Ultra Beast from your hand, then draw 3 cards. So drawing cards is good at the TCG, we know that, and with Ultra Space you can get an Ultra Beast from the deck immediately to then discard, and of course that's gonna be fantastic to then just draw a lot of cards and maybe get this stuff going on. We have Venom Shot. You can discard 2 energies from this Pokemon. Actually, you have to discard 2 energies, and then you can dish 170 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. If they use the Giratina GX, they're done for. If they use something else that you want to hit for, it's gonna be awesome, because yeah, 170 sniping everywhere is actually huge. Then in Ignition GX, add 1 card from your opponent's discard pile face down with their prize card. So maybe a crucial card that they have in the discard can put it as their face down prize cards. For a lightning energy, not too bad, right? And also it has 1 retreat cost, so I do think that Ultra Beast decks will definitely be a thing. Next up is Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. I do love this card because Zapdos is on it. Too bad it's not too good, because hitting 210, even though the attack cost is very awkward, 210 is not one-shotting a lot of tag team GXs out there, so I don't see a lot of hope for this card. Although as a stall card, 300 HP, and having a GX move that shuffles this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back in the deck is gonna be nice. Not only that, if you have like all the additional energies like a fire, a water, and a lightning energy, you can use the side effect of the GX move, and that attack does 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. 110 to 3 of the opponent's bench Pokemon, wow. Knockout Jirachi, knockout Zipstricon, knockout Zapdos. So that could be the thing, knocking out 3 weak basics. Very nice, but you have to get the energies on there. As mentioned, you can rely on the new Victini here, or maybe you just play Arceus Prism Star. I don't know how you get the energies on there. You can also try and use like Welder attachment on the turn, wait a turn, and hope you survive, because with the GX move you shuffle back in the deck anyhow, so that could be kind of a thing to just set this up. But you have to play a lot of different type of energies, so that's a little bit awkward. Next is also, not that I think about it, you can also play Porygon Z, the new one from Unbroken Bonds, special energies, unit energies, rainbow energies, whatever. Just try and get this Pokemon set up. Maybe we'll see it at tournament play as well. Okay, next is Lickitung. You can draw a card for each of your opponent's Pokemon that has a retreat cost of exactly 4. Meh, I wouldn't use it. But then there's Licky. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand, and then you can discard the top card of your opponent's deck and discard an energy attached to the opponent's active. Pretty much the perfect recipe for a stall deck, wouldn't you say? But it does need 3 energies to do that. We have Hoot, which has of course Air Slash, which means you can use that tool card for a GX move. More on that later. Noctowl just hits 60 damage to one of the opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. It's too bad that the Pokemon already has to have damage counters on it, otherwise you can just snipe weak things, although DCE is gone. Aldino, once during your turn you can just draw a card if this Pokemon is active. Maybe we'll see it with Escape Board as a way to promote a Pokemon, draw a card immediately. Who knows? We'll have to try it out. There's a type null in the deck, actually in the set. We already have a type null, which is still legal, and then there's Still Valley. Still, he has the attack Air Slash, which means you have access to that tool card. But not only that, its first attack for like 2 cards energy, you dish out 30 damage. Easy settable with, of course, a Welder. Welder, boom, you set this up, and then this attack dishes out 50 damage for each prize card your opponent took last turn. So if they knock out a GX, you dish out 130. If they knock out a Tag Team GX, you dish out 180. Yeah, that is not bad. Definitely to think about. We still have these the memories in the format. I know Psychic Memory and Fighting Memory are out of the format since it's rotated out, but we also have other memories that we can use to just hit for weakness. Now, to the most exciting thing, Normalium G... Let me just state that, Normalium Z Tackle. So that is a tool card that you can equip to every Pokemon. Yeah, if this Pokemon is attached to a Pokemon that has the attack Tackle, you can use this GX card that is stated on this card. For 4 Corals energies, you dish out 200 damage, flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, you dish out an additional 40 damage. So, as an average, you dish out 200 or 240. That can go up to crazy numbers if you're good in coin flip, but that is your Jax move for the game. So, a Pokemon with Tackle now have access to that. We have Flying Z Air Slash, and that is for Pokemon with the attack Air Slash, and then you can dish out 180 for 4 Cardless energies, and then during your opponent's next turn, prevent all effects of damage and all that good stuff done to you. So pretty much like Moon's Eclipse GX, as of course a tool card. That is interesting. Let's say you're playing something with Air Slash, for example, that's Silph Valley. You can set up with things like Malamar and then have this amazing GX move as a non-GX deck. That could be a thing, right? Next up is a U-Turn Board. This Pokemon is like a tool card, and then you have 1 retreat cost less, but when this card gets discarded from play, it returns to the hand. So let's say the opponent somehow gets rid of the tool card by knocking out our Pokemon. Well, the tool card goes immediately back to our hand, which is nice. Another fun fact, if you use Field Blower, I know it's going to be rotated out, but Field Blower on yourself, it goes back in the hand. So everything that gets discarded from play, it returns to the hand. So very interesting. 1 retreat cost less. Then Pokemaniac. Search your deck for 3 Pokemon with a retreat cost of exactly 4. Put them in the hand. So if there's like a bulky deck coming out with a lot of Pokemon with 4 retreat costs, we now have, of course, Pokemaniac. So if there's a weak basic that needs evolving and it has 4 retreat costs, it's going to be good nowadays. We're very similar like the days where Heavy Ball was legal. Next is Jesse and James. Both players discard 2 cards from their hand. This is going to be kind of huge with, of course, the Honchkrow GX from the Unbroken Bond set. With, of course, this card, you can just discard 2 cards. The opponent will, of course, discard 2 cards, then use Unfair GX, discarding 2 more cards. And if they only have 4 cards in the hand, they're screwed and they don't have anything anymore. Combine that with like a Marshadow. I know Marshadow is going to be rotated, but just wanted to mention it here. Maybe an expanded. It's going to be kind of fun using Marshadow, Honchkrow GX, and Jesse and James, and then they have nothing to work with. Next is Blizzard Town. Pokemon with 40 HP or less cannot attack. Wow. Very situational, but could be great in certain situations. I don't know, 40 HP or less and you cannot attack. I wonder how this will be used. For now, I don't think it's that good of a card, but maybe when future cards get released, maybe we can try and grab to that Blizzard Town. Recycle Energy is kind of neat. If this card, actually, let's just say it. If this card is put into your discard pile from play, you can return it to the hand. So pretty similar like that, yeah, escaping tool card we had here, U-Turn Board. This card goes to the, instead of the discard pile, returns to the hand. Okay, with Porygon Z, we have an ultimate combo here. You stack up a lot of energies. You just announce an attack for, yeah, for KO or whatever. The opponent returns KOs you, and all the energies, all the recycled energies go back to the hand, and then you can immediately reattach them with Porygon Z. So I do see potential in recycled energy. We do see Netball. We'll see a reprint in the Western set when it gets printed as the Unified Bonds. What am I saying? Unified Bonds, Unified Mindset. Who knows? Things like this can also come out as a leak promo. Pokemon, the Pokemon Company does that a lot, so we have to just figure it out when the set actually drops Unified Minds. Gladion as a reprint, Lily is a reprint, and Lusamine is a reprint. So very huge things that we see here. So I'm very excited to just try all these cards out. Definitely the tool cards that have GX moves adapted with them. We have a Magmortar, which is actually not good. We have a Heatran. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench and becomes your active, let's say you just you switch or something, it moves to the active position. You can move any number of fire energies from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. So you can just absorb all the fire energies you want, and then you can use, of course, the attack 130. It does have 190 HP for a basic, not too bad. And but the Heat Bomber GX is where it's at. You dish out 50 damage times the number of fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you have a lot of fire energies in play, smack it down, use a switch or something, go to the active position, absorb all the fires, and you can just have your GX move, bam, dealing crazy numbers of damage. There is a Chandelure in the set. Remember, we have Duskstone and Unbroken Bond, so we can go immediately onto Chandelure if we just get out our Lampent, which is nice. And then we can just use Soul Burner. Single fire energy for stage 2. Stage 2 is easy with Duskstone. You can discard the top 5 cards from your deck, and you dish out 60 damage for each Pokemon you discarded in that way. 60 damage for each Pokemon. Let's say you discard 3 Pokemon. That's 190 damage for a single energy on a 1 price attack. That's insane. Maybe play a lot of Brock's Grid because otherwise you won't have any Pokemon left in the deck, but that's very interesting. Maybe we should test that out. Then we have Raichu Alolan GX. I do love this card. I know it's weak to fighting, but it does have the crazy attack. Tandem Shock, 80 damage, and if you came from the bench during this turn, sort of similar like Thunderous Assault with Zapdos, this attack's cost is actually 160 and your opponent is automatically paralyzed. Without Ace or Rowlet in the format, without Guzma, I do see this attack being so powerful. Just paralyze one of the tag teams of the opponent and then just finish the job afterwards. You dish out 160, that should be enough with its paralyzation shenanigans. Maybe use another switch and all that good stuff with escape boards and stuff. And you're gonna have a good time. You also have Lightning Ride, 150 damage, switch this Pokemon with your bench Pokemon. Pretty similar like Giratina GX's GX move, and then if you have like 2 extra lightning energy attached, you can dish out 100 damage more, so 250. That's where it's at. 250 with Electro Power. You're not gonna have a hard time. Raichu and Alolan Raichu will be good. Mark my words. You have to be careful of the Sledgehammer turn, but other than that, you're gonna be good. There's also a regular Alolan Raichu in the set. You can discard as many lightning energies attached from this Pokemon as you like. For every energy discarded in this way, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and you dish out 30 damage to that Pokemon. So sniping at its best. Let's say you have energy acceleration for lightning types. There is with the Magnezone. You can snipe wherever you please. Stunfisk. It's a regular basic Pokemon, but it needs fighting energies and it's a lightning type, which means with Electro Power you can buff it up by your Aura fighting deck intentionally, because of course you're needing fighting type energies. And if your opponent's active Pokemon has more remaining HP than this Pokemon, you dish out 30 more damage. So in most situations you just one-shot Zapdos and stuff, so that's interesting to see a lightning tech and a fighting deck. Thunderous. If you have Tornadoes on the bench with the first attack, you dish 17 for DCE. I hope DCE gets reprinted, otherwise this is going to be kind of garbage. Then Raging Thunder 120 and then 40 to one of the opponent's bench Pokemon. Next is Alolan Marowak. This is going to be an interesting Pokemon because with discard, Ghost Destruction, you can discard the top card of your opponent's deck, and if you discard a Pokemon, you could do equal the amount of damage of the HP on that Pokemon. So let's say, for argument's sake, we are using Hiker to just look at the top 5 cards of the opponent's deck. We see a tag team in there. Oh, nice. It's a Charizard. Let's put it on top of the deck. Then we use Ghost Destruction. Bam. You just discard that card and you dish out 270 damage for 0 energies. Very fun to test out. But if the opponent is not playing like huge GXs, it's not that good. But if you're playing against a heavy tag team GX deck, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, next up. Drifblim. This one brings free retreat to your tag teams. Once during your turn, you may switch your active tag team with one of your bench Pokemon. So kind of similar like Ultra Road of the Solgaleo, but on the stage 1 to help your tag teams with a lot of retreat. We have a Dimensional Claw ability of Giratina, very similar like Garchomp, but only works on the active. If you smack it down on the bench, you can discard a special energy from the opponent's active. We have, what is interesting here, Medicham. If this Pokemon has Black Belt attached, which is a tool card that states if you're behind in prize cards, you need 1 fighting energy less to attack. This attack dishes out 60 more damage. That means 120 damage for a single fighting energy. That means a 1-hit KO on Pikarom. So that's why I'm mentioning Medicham. There is a Garchomp in here. Very interesting Garchomp. Has free retreat. That's a good thing already. And if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, you can dish out 80 more damage with all of your attacks. So they already dished out 80 damage, and you may discard any energy from this Pokemon, and then you dish out 40 more damage. So, as a total package, you are behind in prize cards, you smack a Black Belt on here on the Garchomp, that way you can attack for like a Carless energy, and then you're behind in prize cards regardless, so you dish out 160 damage, and 40 more damage if you decide to discard that energy, and that means you dish out 200 damage for a Carless energy. You do need Black Belt and you need to be behind the prize cards, but this Garchomp is huge. Maybe we can try it out. Next, there's a Riolu with 60 HP. That could help out with Professor Out, searchable. We have a Lucario. Your Pokemon tag team take 20 less damage from your opponent's attacks, and that actually stacks. So if you got a couple of Lucarios out, your tag teams will be bulky as hell. And without Guzma in the format and not too many gusting effects out there, you're gonna have an awesome time if you're just playing a bulky tag team GX deck. Meloedon. Attaches energies to your tag team. So for first attack, attach an energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon tag team. That's the only interesting thing about it. We have Zygarde. This is fantastic. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your Zygarde, including Zygarde GX, do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And this stack, so let's get 4 of these Zygardes out, the 10%. They're out there. That means you dish out an 80 extra damage with your Zygarde. It's gonna be so great playing with Zygarde. Get your Zygardes out of the binder because Zygarde is not going anywhere with this new Zygarde. We have a Hoopa, Evil Abomination, pretty similar attack name, like of course the one from Weavile. This attack dishes out 20 more damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon with an ability. So let's say they play Jirachi, they play Dedenne, that's already 2 Pokemon with abilities. You just have 54 single Colorless Energy. That is not bad in my book. Colorless Energy, you also are the Dark type, so you dish out weakness against Pokemon that are weak to Dark. Think about Gengar or Mimikyu, for example. So that's not a bad card to have. There's also Mawile. This is actually the ability Captivating Pokepop. Remember that item where you just look at the opponent's hand and put a Pokemon in their hand and just bench it? The exact same thing, but you can just put any Pokemon down. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may look at the opponent's hand and put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto their bench. Pokemon that have an activation with an ability like Giratina GX, just smack it down. It's gonna be easy prize cards for you. So maybe we see Mawile GX. Also, it works very well with Almastar. Almastar, of course, has item lock, but you have to have a lower bench space than the opponent. Well, this is a good thing to make sure they have item lock for the rest of the game by just smacking everything down they have. Alright, moving forward, we have Garchomp and Giratina GX. There is no double dragon energy. That is a shame, but with Malamar you can set this up. Maybe you play a couple of fighting energies. It is searchable with Viridian Force, so it's gonna be very similar. And maybe you can just spread a little bit. I don't know if there's like a psychic Pokemon. There's a Weezing that of course spreads a little bit. And if there's damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon, then this Pokemon dishes out a lot of damage for only 3 energies. Its first attack dishes out 40 to one of the opponent's Pokemon. That can set up, of course, the GX, actually the second attack, because if the opponent already has damage counters on it, you dish out 240 damage instead of the 160. 240 is good. With the extra 40 damage, that's 280. Very easy one-shotting every tag team GX out there. Even Charizard. Although Charizard might have a swing here with 230, even with Choice Band, he's not one-shotting us, we are one-shotting him. So I do have a lot of hope for Garchomp and Giratina, definitely with Malamar. We also have GG and GX. Discard one of the opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to them. So if you don't want to deal with the Charizard with a lot of damage and stuff, just put it back in the deck or whatever. Or maybe you're just having, oh no, there's an Almastar with ability lock, or actually with item lock. Let's just discard that Pokemon. Don't want to see that. Bam. So that GX is very interesting. And if you have at least 3 extra fighting energies, which is very hard to do, I don't know how you could do it. You can discard 2 of the opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to them. So yeah, maybe in one of those decks. We had, of course, before I had a shift tree that just puts Pokemon away from field. And with, of course, this, maybe you can have like a fun rogue deck and expand it. I know. Next is Latias. I do love Latias. It's a great card. This attack dishes out 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And for each energy attached to that Pokemon. So that means that, let's say you just use the attack on, for example, on here. On this Garchomp and Giratina, they do have like a lot of tag teams need a lot of energies. Let's say this guy has 3 energies attached, he snipes 60 damage on that Pokemon. So for a single psychic energy is not bad. Or other Pokemon dish out more damage because of course if they have more energies you dish out more damage, but that's very nice. You can snipe as well. Okay, moving forward we have a Hexorus. I don't think it's very good, but it does have the ability Grinder Up. Once during your turn you may discard a Stadium in play. You can make sure you have a Stadium on there, and then you can attach 3 fire energies or 3 metal energies from your hand to this Pokemon. It's a shame that it's to this Pokemon because its attack is not good. It dishes out 10 damage and then 40 extra damage for every energies attached to this Pokemon. So okay, let's see. This attack does 40 more each energy attack. Okay, let's say for the base damage, fire and a metal, you dish out 90 damage. Let's say you get like the 3 extra energies on there, or let's say you just attach a metal and just use the ability to get 3 extras there on there with Fiery Flint. That way you have 4 energies, and 4 energies, that is of course gonna be 160 damage, 170 damage. On the stage 2, there's better ways to do that, man. We have Kangaskhan. This is actually gonna see play with Tag Impact. This attack dishes out 50 damage for each of your Pokemon tag team in play. Let's say your entire bench is full, that's 250 for a 1-prizer. How do we set this up? We have Welder, attach of the turn, Welder, and just wait a turn, I guess? Yeah, it does have 130 HP, so that's nice. We have Bibarel, irrelevant, although it can just block one of the opponent's attacks. We have Munchlax. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, put any card from the discard pile on the top of the deck. Either way, your turn ends. With these baby Pokemon, we have that. But yeah, getting your card that you desperately want for game in the discard on the top of the deck could help out. We have this Tranquil, which has Air Slash, which of course can use a tool card We have Unpheasant. You may shuffle all cards attached to both players' active Pokemon into their deck. Meh, average. We have Tornadus. If Thundurus is on the bench, you dish out 20 damage to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon, in addition to the 80 to the active. So maybe we can try that out. Just smack down Thundurus, smack down Tornadus, get a bunch of Malamars out, spreading a bunch of damage, spell attacks on the Malamars, spread this around. Who knows? Who knows? We have Tag Switch. Move up to 2 energies from one of your tag teams to another one of your Pokemon. Yeah, getting energies from Pikarom, for instance, could be nice. We have Reset Stamp. This is huge. Your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. Let's say, oh, the opponent only needs 1 more prize card. Well, how do we stop that? Get our Reset Stamp, smack it down. The opponent shuffles their hand into their deck, only gets 1 card, and maybe you can go from there and regain a game. So that means you can just get games back. You can, how do you call that? Even if you're losing, there's still a way to win after you smack down Reset Stamp. So that's why I like it. Very similar to the N supporter we've seen in Noble Victories. We have Black Belt, already explained that. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to requires 1 fighting energy less to attack. So we can have, of course, let's say Machamp and Marshadow Tag Team GX for a single energy. You can now have that revenge attack for 120 damage for a single Carlos energy. As an example, you don't need to play fighting energies anymore. You can just play this. You're behind, revenge, either way. It's gonna be nice to just test that out. Grimsley, as a supporter, move 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of your opponent's Pokemon. Average. I don't think that we'll see play. We have Coach Trainer. Draw 2 cards. If your active Pokemon is a tag team, draw 2 more cards. So in the deck with, of course, a lot of tag teams, you may maybe want to test it out because drawing 4 cards is better than shuffling. If you just want to stack up on certain key pieces. We have Giant Furnace. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a card from their hand. If they do, that player searches their deck for up to 2 fire energies, reveals them, and put them into the hand. Very awesome with Baby Blacephalon, if I say so myself, but also works so well with Welder. Discard a card, get 2 fire energies, and immediately smack down Welder. Get the energies attached, draw 3 cards. It's gonna be so awesome to be, a fire player. We have Escape Rope and Nesball having a potential reprint that is not 100% confirmed and Unified Minds. If that is the case, a lot of decks will survive the rotation. If not, we definitely need some more ball engines because I don't know what's going on. There's still on the 31st of May, there's gonna be like a set revealed in Japan that also is gonna be part of our Unified Mind set, which we're gonna talk about, of course, on this channel. So these cards may potentially see a reprint. I hope so. It's definitely Escape Rope and Nesball. They're very good, but if they don't come in the set, I definitely think they will be league promos, unfortunately. We have Rotom Dex, we've seen that before, and Tate and Liza. So that is it for a little recap of all the Japanese scans we are looking forward to when Unified Minds drops. Let me know in the comment section below which cards are you looking forward to most. In my case, if I have to scroll down a bit, Reset Stamp is something I look forward to the most. What else? The Zygarde. I definitely want to be playing like with a Zygarde fun deck and just get that up and rolling. Also, Alolan Raichu. I do think without Guzma, this is going to be one of those broken cards. If you can get the energies on there. We have Tapu Koko Prism Star. Attachment on the turn. Thunder Mountain. Yeah, you can use that as early as your second turn. If you go second, you can smack it down immediately. So it's going to be so good. So a lot of cards to look forward to. I'm curious to see what you are looking forward to. Put it in the comment section below. And also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to demolish the like button. And subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon TCG content like this. Anyhow, this was Zapdos TCG. I wish you a very fantastic rest of your day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
If you wanna go and test a deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in my brain. Where is my